Hi, FlossTube.
Hello, FlossTube.
I'm Pam.
And I'm Stephanie.
And this is
Just Keep Stitching, episode 313. 6 plus 6 plus 1 plus 150 plus 50 plus 50 plus 25 plus 25 is 313 cuz math.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hello, people.
Glad that you could join us.
Do you remember us?
Do you remember?
Have you missed us? We've been a little busy.
Yeah, we've been a little busy. We took a little trip in an airplane.
Minor.
A couple airplanes. 4 different airplanes.
Yeah, there were actually 4 different airplanes. Yeah, that's right.
So we're here to give you primarily a video about our trip to the Netherlands. Mm-hmm. But we have a few items that are not DutchMaynia related that we want to get out there to you first.
Yes.
So just hang with us for a couple of seconds.
Yeah. So
that we can take care of business, quote unquote, and then we're going to talk. Yeah, we're going to take care of that, and then we're going to talk about our amazing trip.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So the structure of the video is going to be like a little bit of like announcement at the beginning, and then we're not going to do like the standard sort of categories that you're used to in a regular FlossTube video. We talked about it and we were like, do we want to do everything together? Do we want to do 2 videos in one day? Like, what do we want to do?
How long do we want this video to be?
Right, exactly. And based on what we've seen on the internet and hearing from you all is that you really just want to hear about our trip, which I don't blame you. I'd want to hear about it too. So, but there are, like Pam said, a couple things that we need to get out in the world. So, we'll take care of that first, and then we'll follow some of the same categories that you're used to, but not all of them.
The emphasis will be on the trip.
Sure. And then for the calendar moving forward, at least for this upcoming week, we will do a regular like FlossTube video with all of our normal categories, our haul and things like that. That's not your trip related.
Right.
We will post that video this upcoming Thursday.
Yeah. So if you don't care
about our European adventure,
our European trip, you can turn us off or move on to somebody else and come back on Thursday.
There you go.
For a regular format.
Yes.
However, as Steph said, we have a feeling.
Yeah. And then next Sunday, a week from today, we'll have a regular video as well.
Yeah. So
probably not very long, but
you're going to get us pretty frequently in the next week.
Yeah. But we're just making up for lost time. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So, first things first, I do want to give a really quick StitchCon 2024 update. The StitchCon 2024 waitlist has opened and closed. So thank you all so very much. If you put your name on that list, very exciting to see some familiar names and some new names as well. So that's really great. We're very excited. The waitlist opened the day before we left for our trip, and then we closed it. This is actually the longest the waitlist has ever been opened. And so in communication with Barbara at Keepsakes here in Cincinnati from the Netherlands, we just decided that we were just going to close it and then work our way through the names that we currently have, and then we will possibly revisit opening it again after the first of the year.
Right.
So that leads me to invoicing. So if you were with us last year, then maybe you remember the great PayPal debacle of 2022. So the reason that we have the waitlist day and invoice day a month apart is because I take those 31 days, however many there are, in between, and schedule each invoice. So 600 invoices get scheduled to go out on invoice day. So I did all this work last year, and then I wake up on invoice day at like 8 a.m. just to make sure everything's going smoothly.
It's really early for her, folks.
Just so you know. And I'm like, just to make sure that everything's like going right, okay? Because when you schedule the invoices, they usually they hit your inbox at 7 a.m. Eastern time.
If everything
around
goes
that time.
as expected.
Correct. So out of the 600 invoices I'd scheduled last year.
Oh, it brings it all back.
Oh, my heart rate.
Things did not go
maybe
as
like
planned.
50 of them went out. And it was just a nightmare.
It was bad.
So, turns out, it wasn't anything that I did, or we did, or Keepsakes did, or whatever.
Right.
It was an internal PayPal problem.
Yeah.
But we decided, as a StitchCon team, that to maybe alleviate some of that pressure,
Yeah.
instead of having all 600 invoices go out on one day, we are dividing it up into 3 days. Mm-hmm. So, the first batch of invoices, the first 100 for weekend A and first 100 for weekend B, will go out on the 4th of October. Then the second 100 for A and the second 100 for B will go out on the 5th of October. And then the third 100 for A and the third 100 for B will all go out on the 6th of October.
And that is not in any way an indication of preference.
Oh, no, it's just in order.
Or any kind of pick and choose.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. No, we just go down the list.
Simply in the order that people were on the wait list.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
So I divided everybody up like...
Nobody should panic after October 4th.
Yes.
Or panic after October 5th.
I mean, frankly, you shouldn't panic after
You shouldn't panic at all.
Really.
Really. I mean, you know.
To be fair. But if you do not get an invoice on the 4th, don't freak out, okay? Yeah. So you're not allowed to freak out until like the Monday after.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, and of course, if there is any issue whatsoever, then we will be posting about it on the Keepsakes social media pages, okay? And then that Sunday afterwards, we will give an update and let everybody know where we're at. Yeah. So, everything still applies. The previous rules apply. Mm-hmm. So, if you you have 1 week to pay your invoice from the date you receive it. After 4 days of non-payment, you will be issued a reminder, just like a, hey, we're here. After 7 days or after a week of non-payment, your invoice will be canceled and we will pull someone else off of the wait list.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, I'm with an event this large, with the number of people that are on the wait list, like there are people who are itching to come. Okay? So, if you want to come and you put your name on that list, please make sure that you are checking your spam folders, log into your PayPal account itself, check there for an outstanding invoice. Do the things on that you can control to check, okay?
Right.
And then I'm going to say this. I am more than happy after those invoices go out and you did not get one after the 6th. If you would like to know where you are on the list, I'm happy to tell you that information. Mm-hmm. However, I am not going to take any requests before the 7th of October.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So, just know that going in, because I'm not going to tell you where you're on the list today, because then that's going to give away whether or not you get an invoice, and I want to keep it a secret. Because that's the excitement of it all, okay? Don't ruin the excitement.
Right.
And the registration fee is $275. That is a one-time payment, payable only through PayPal, and it's just a one-time fee. Yep. Everything else is on you. Your travel, your hotel, your spending money, your food, your all the things. That's all you. Okay? Yep. So, that is the StitchCon situation as it stands right now.
Okay.
And I probably won't come back with an update until right before Invoice Day.
Probably not.
So,
yeah.
So that is the StitchCon 2024 update.
Great. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. This might be around the time when I say, let's talk about stitching, shall we?
Yeah.
And in terms of what we've been stitching, today we're only going to show you what we stitched on during DutchMaynia.
Yes.
Okay.
So we've been working on the last couple weeks since we've been gone.
Right.
While we were away.
Things we might have decided it would be a DutchMaynia start.
Or projects that we took to work on there.
So that's what we're going to do next, right?
Yes, that is exactly what we're going to do next.
Wow,
yes.
I'm sticking with the program.
Good job, Pamela.
How excellent is that? Who's going to go first?
What do the notes say, Pam?
It says Stephanie first.
So that's what's going to happen. Okay, so the first project was something new. Both of these are new starts for me. The first one was one that I had purchased and was originally going to be part of. I broke a Cardinal FlossTube rule. I did. Okay. But this is just to prove that there are no rules.
Correct.
So when it came, I was like, that would make for a really easy retreat project.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a new release from Primrose Cottage. And the name of the chart is called Autumn Quaker. And that's what it looks like. And I actually purchased everything. The chart, everything but the fabric, I should say. The threads, the finishing materials. I got all the things direct from Primrose Cottage. Because I really liked the way this looked. And the called for threads are color and cotton. So I knew I couldn't get them through Keepsakes, so I just went ahead and got everything through Primrose. So, and it just seemed like something that would be easy to work on when you're sitting around chit-chatting or whatever, not the best lighting, etc., etc. And hold on to your horses, everyone, okay? But I am stitching it on 28 count because I want it to be as big as the picture. So, this is 28 count Lugana, which is what they used. They used mushroom. I'm using light ash gray. So, I think light ash gray is maybe a little bit cooler than the mushroom, which is probably a little bit warmer, but I still think it's pretty. So, and that is how much I got done. I really love the variegation.
When did you start that?
I started this at the hotel.
Did you really? Wow. I didn't realize you got that much done on it.
Oh, I was going to say it's not that much, but...
Oh, I don't remember seeing you stitching on it. So
Yeah. Yeah. When we would sit around at night in the hotel and stitch and stuff after dinner. Okay. Yeah, that was when I worked on it the most. But I also just can't stop talking. So, in my head, I'm like, well, I can stitch at home. I don't get to sit with these people and talk to them at home,
Exactly.
So, but it was, I also brought it with me in the airport, LOL.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't stitch on an airplane, so, because it's not body friendly, but,
T-Rex arms,
but yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, but it's nice and small and compact and fits in the smaller project bag, so it was really easy to pack.
Great.
So, but that might be my retreat piece that I take with me this fall. Just super easy to work on, you know?
Yeah.
And then, this was a little bit more meaningful, I should say. So, one of the things that we probably talked about it on our channel, honestly, that we were planning on doing while we were in the Netherlands and when we visited Amsterdam, was to go to the Anne Frank house. I struggle with the name house because it's the annex that she and her family hid in. So it's, you know what I mean? Sure, I guess you could call it her house, but anyway, that's what it's officially called, is the Anne Frank house. So, we wanted to go 4 years ago, but then we found out you had to get tickets months in advance. And so we decided, well, next time we come, we're going, which is what we did. And so I had this chart in my stash and I've been holding on to it until we did that. And so I wanted to start it the day that we went. And so we went to Amsterdam, we toured the Anne Frank house, and then that evening when we were sitting around in the hotel lobby stitching, I started the chart. And so this is from a designer named Gira, G-E-R-A. I purchased the chart from Creative Poppy, which is a website. So I will, of course, link that below.
quite a while ago.
Yeah, I've had it for quite some time. And the words on it say, in spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart. And this is what it looks like. And show you some of the details with the birds and the flowers. And one thing that I think is super cool is that the roof is actually this, like, designed to be similar plaid to her diary. So I thought that was really interesting. And yeah, it's like, it's not like the most depressing thing, which is why I liked it. And I know that there are other Anne Frank patterns out there in the world, but this was just the one that really spoke to me. I love the blue fabric, all of the things. So let's talk about the fabric for a second. So the fabric is 32 count Riviera Aqua. Okay. So I got 40 count Riviera Aqua. And when I started stitching on it, using the called for threads, it's all DMC, the letters did not pop as much as I wanted them to. So I tried a couple different fabrics. I wasn't happy with anything. Like I started it in Europe and then I brought it home, tried a couple fabrics at home, nothing worked. So then Pam suggested, well, why don't you just make the thread brighter? So, because
she wanted the words to be prominent, which is
valid, I think.
Totally meaningful.
Yes. I didn't want the words of all things to get washed away on the fabric.
And you know, pictures on charts are often deceiving because of lighting.
Yes. And so the thread that was called for was actually like a light blue. And so when you only use one thread, it doesn't really pop that well.
You don't have the color immersion or the color
saturation.
Saturation is the better word.
Yeah. So I went back to the pattern and list of colors and found like the brightest color that was listed, which is 712, which is like a light cream color. And so I'm doing the words in light cream because it works so much better. So this is what I have. So it's obviously not that big of a start. But when I'm telling you that before you couldn't even see it, you couldn't even see that.
Yeah.
So
you're happy now.
I am thrilled now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to work on this for a while and see how much of the words I can get done. But I'm using one thread over two. So, and this is the 40 count Riviera Aqua.
Where's that from?
Or the fabric?
Yeah.
This is Zweigart fabric.
Zweigart.
Yeah. So, those are the two projects that I worked on while we were away.
Okay.
What about you, Pam?
I decided that I would pull something out.
Okay. Yeah? You pull something out that what?
That was related to the Netherlands as well. And if you've been with us for a minute, you know that I fairly recently stitched and had framed a design out of a series from TemptingTangles called Quakers in Scotland. Way before I bought Quakers in Scotland, I saw that they had also done Quakers in the Netherlands. And
is it called Quakers in the Netherlands or Quakers in Holland?
Quakers in Holland. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
And actually it was from 2018, so quite a while ago. And I must have gotten it as a stitch along in parts. Because it's kind of in paper format. But anyway.
That's exactly what happened.
This is what it looks like.
Oh, it's exciting.
And the called for threads, well, I shouldn't say that. The called for threads are DMC, but you could purchase a alternative thread pack from Dinky Dyes.
Yeah.
Okay. Which I did at the time.
I did.
Or you did.
I got them at market.
I think you had intended to stitch this.
I did.
Okay. but she decided
I relinquished.
she was okay with me stitching. So that is the design.
So cool.
And I will explain as I go along with this design some of the pertinent details of the design that our friend Alice in the Netherlands gave me while we were at the retreat. So I'm not going to spend time explaining that now because I didn't really, do much more than just kind of start.
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yeah.
So I'm just stitching it on a linen that I had in my stash, mystery linen, whatever.
Sure.
So I started up in the upper. I eyeballed 3 down, 3 in, and started this motif here. And a little bit, since I've been home, I worked on this.
Yeah.
But primarily finished that first motif, and that's what this is.
So pretty.
That's what this is. There's
They're
actually
little birds.
3 colors. Yeah, the brown, tan brown, bing, bing, north, south, east, west are birds. Aww. So, it's lovely. I like the dinky dyes. And this is going to be quite striking, I think.
It is. It's going to be really cool to have them next to each other on the wall.
I don't know that I'll hang them.
Well, I mean, you don't have to hang them next to each other, but just to see them next to each other, I think.
Yeah, cool. see them next to each other.
Yes.
The Scotland piece is hanging in my bedroom.
It is.
And so that was one thing that I got started while we were there.
Yes.
And then the other piece that I took to work on was one of my Whip Go pulls for September.
Yes.
And that is started off as a kit from River Drift House. And that is a cross-stitch company in, do I not have a picture here?
England.
From the UK.
Oh, do you want me to pull it up?
Nope, I've got it.
Okay.
And this is what it looks like. It is called Victoria and Albert Christmas. I had started it a really long time ago, but it was on my Whip Go board.
Yep.
And we talked about how Stephanie and I both enjoyed watching the miniseries on Victoria. And some of the Christmas traditions that Victoria and Albert started. And we talked about how in the series that we watched, they hung their Christmas trees from the ceiling upside down, if you recall.
Such a thrill.
So that is my motivation for picking this pattern out. It was one of my Whip Go calls for this month. Now I ditched the white Ada that it came with, and I found another piece of the 28 count water lily, and it's the same as I stitched Lady Justice up here. So it looks a little bit different, and I talked about
I love it.
How I had to because if you notice, particularly on Victoria's dress, that is negative space because it
is white.
Included white Ada.
Sure.
So in order for it to stand out and not be water lily green on her dress, I had to make the white stitches in there.
Sure.
So this is a combination of what I stitched over there and what I've stitched since we've been home.
Sure.
Because it's for Whip Go, I've got to meet
my
goal. So it has a different look on the green.
Oh, I love it.
So what
it looks more Christmassy, I think.
What I'm looking at is, what you're looking at is basically Victoria is done. And then to surround her with all of these other Christmas motifs and toys and so forth, and the beginnings of the branches of the tree, awesome. Which is in the middle.
Yep.
So,
so cool.
I actually did quite a bit of it, both there and since we've been back.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
it's beautiful, Pammy.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, is it?
And
you seem to be enjoying it.
Yeah, so that is what we've been stitching on. So at this point, we're calling those our whips
of
the week. There you go.
Very exciting.
Okay.
Okay. Promotions! Welcome to the Triple P.
That's right.
The promotional portion of the program. Okay?
So, when we were over in the Netherlands, we had a discussion with Nursen and Nerden about what we were going to promote
when we came back.
For them on the next video when we got home. And they thought it would be a great idea to pick up seven different designs of theirs. Yeah. Most of them were needlework marketplace releases, if not all. I'm not sure what the split is.
I don't know if all of them are, but there's a
the
good
vast majority of the 7, maybe 5 out of the 7, maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
But they're all discounted now.
New releases. And so we're going to insert pictures.
Yeah. So there will be 7 pictures.
Yeah.
So the names of the chart are, and they will be in this order. Okay. Christmas Barn, Little Women, 31st of October, Cardinal Sampler, Christmice Ornaments.
That's a book.
Yeah. It's a bunch of Christmas ornaments with mice in them. Right. Number 6 is the 2023 Twin Peak Santa. And number 7 is the 2023 Twin Peak Snowman.
Right.
So, okay, so at this point, let's show you all 7 of the patterns of the week. Here. So, now that you've seen all of those, let's first give you the business end of things. Yeah. So, they are 23% off. That is the discount.
Right.
And then they are discounted for 1 full week. Right. So, even though we're doing a video on Thursday, they will be the same patterns until next Sunday. So, for a full week, all 7 are discounted. Right. If you would like to get a PDF version of the patterns of the week, then you can do so by going to either the Twin Peak Primitives website or their Etsy shop, both of which are linked below. Then, however, if you would like a hard copy of 1 or 4 or all 7 of the patterns of the week, then you can only get them discounted from one place, and that one place is the Daily Stitcher, which is an online needlework shop, and they are, of course, linked below as well. There's no special code that you need, no anything that you have to do. They are already pre-discounted, so you just add them to your cart and check out. Right. You can get 1, you can get 2, you can get all 7.
Right.
Don't matter to me.
Yep.
You can get one today, one tomorrow, one Wednesday, one Thursday. Do whatever you want to do.
Right.
But they're all discounted for 1 week for 23% off.
Yeah.
So, get them while you can.
That's right.
Okay?
Get them while they're discounted.
Get them while they discounted.
Okay. So, that is pretty much the
Yeah. The regular
stuff.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about our trip. Now, just to give you an overview, the retreat itself was 2 days.
Yes.
Saturday and Sunday.
Yes.
We got there about 6 days ahead of that.
The previous Sunday.
Along with us were Debbie from Snug Harbor Crafts, our friend Suzanne, who is Suzanne on Instagram, and she lives in Texas.
Yep.
Debbie, of course, is in Utah.
Yep.
And a gal that I had talked to briefly at StitchCon and Stitch West last fall, named Christine, who comes from the Los Angeles, California area. So, we had kind of started a pre-trip chat and had come up with some ideas that, and shared some tips on travel, you know, converters and currency and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. So,
and we all kind of got to Amsterdam around the same time.
Sure. So, really quickly back up just 1 second.
Yeah.
So, in case you're wondering, like, well, how did Debbie and Suzanne and Christine get picked to go? And so DutchMaynia in and of itself, when we describe it, technically it's just the retreat, okay?
Yeah.
But then there's this, like, if we're going to make the trip all the way over there for that, we're not just going to stay for 2 days.
Yeah.
So the twins and some people that work for them designed this amazing week-long adventure full of, like, what I've been calling excursions, okay, which is what we're going to talk to you about. And if you followed me on follow me on Instagram, then that's the pictures that you saw all while we were gone. So that is all, like, extra stuff that, if nothing else, it would be the twins and Pam and I. So when we announced that we were going to be going to the Netherlands almost a year ago, it was basically an open invitation. So Debbie and Suzanne and Christine all decided that they wanted to go.
And contacted the twins separately.
Yep.
Didn't go through us.
Correct.
You know, just said, can I be included?
Correct. So, and they were like, we want to do the excursions, and they were included in all the planning and all the things. So that is how that works. So I'm not going to say that we're not going to go back, because we would love to go back. But that was how it worked this year, and I think it worked really well. That way it wasn't like we hand chose folks to come. You know what I'm saying? So, and frankly, the twins didn't handpick people to come. It just happened to be these 3 lovely ladies. So, and we have obviously relationships and very good friendships with both Debbie and Suzanne, and now I would say Christine. So it was really great. So, so there were people that live in the States that came for just the retreat. There were people that live in Europe that came for just the retreat.
Correct.
So all of the, like, excursion stuff was at the front end. And then we cherried on top with the retreat. So that's, like, the structure of the week. In case you were confused. So everyone that was at the retreat did not go on all these excursions with us. It was just this smaller group of ladies. So. Okay.
And the twins have a wonderful, wonderful assistant named Yolanda.
I love Yolanda.
Who oftentimes was on the excursions with us and was an absolute delight. Okay. The twins also had a multi-passenger van with a scheduled driver throughout the week. Yep. So anywhere we went, aside from one trip on a train, we were in the van with this core group, with their driver,
Ruffy.
Sometimes with Yolanda, sometimes with one of the twins, sometimes with both of the twins. Because they were also getting ready
to plan this retreat.
Plan the 2-day event that was at the end.
For sure.
Okay. So, our days were scheduled out and pre-planned by the twins and Yolanda. As to today we're going here. The next day we're going here. And once we got to our hotel, all departures were from the hotel, and
then each day they would give us like, well, here's these things we found that you might be interested in, and then we would,
and some of them were longer days than others, and so forth and so on. Now, the location of the retreat was in a beautiful town called Appledorn. It happens to be where the twins live. And it is also the home of, did you know that the Netherlands has a royal family? I had not known that. And it was, the hotel was right around the corner from the summer palace of the Dutch Royals. The Dutch Royals. They were not in attendance. You could not tour through the palace. I think Debbie walked over there
a little bit,
and looked at the gardens from the outside. But generally, the town is absolutely beautiful. Another thing that I wanted to say up front is that I think all of us coming at least from America were not prepared for the heat. Because it had been cool the week before and probably is cool now. But it was unusually warm the whole time we were there. And
everyone that we talked to said, this is not normal.
We took sweatshirts, we took long pants,
long sleeve shirts,
and it just happened that
we got a little Indian summer in there.
We got an Indian summer in there.
Great.
And that is not typical for the Netherlands for early September. Okay.
So lucky us.
Yeah, lucky us.
So it was a very different experience for us as tourists in this kind of weather than it was in December when we went 4 years ago. So I felt like that, so 2 of the cities that we went to, we also had gone 4 years ago, but we had very different experiences in those cities because of the time of year. I think.
Okay, so...
And the other thing I wanted to say was, I think we had said that, what we're going to do is every night we're going to go to our hotel room and we're going to record a segment. And that just didn't happen. We took the tripod, we thought about doing it, and it just didn't come to fruition. So
I think this format is actually going to work
better
for us.
Do you think?
Okay. I think even though, if you remember some of those videos at the end of each day, we looked like,
death warmed over.
We had been run over by a truck.
Because we were just going.
So I think now that we're home and
been able to reflect,
collect pictures, of course, you're going to see, so forth and so on. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, like I said, the itinerary was preset. And
but also flexible.
Essentially, because it's a pretty long flight, the transatlantic. We didn't really get going right away because everybody was tired. Now, pretty much everybody but us in the core group had nonstop flights.
Well, Christine didn't.
Where did she switch?
In Salt Lake.
Oh, that's right. She was on the Salt Lake switch. Okay. But
Salt Lake switch.
Well, we had pretty long layover going to the Netherlands in Boston. So we left pretty early from here and arrived late morning in Boston and had 6 or 7 hours. We didn't plan to do this, but what we ended up doing was taking a water taxi from Boston Logan and going to the mainland near, if you're familiar, near the New England Aquarium. And it ended up being the best thing we could have done.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was an opportunity to
get on a boat
for a short little boat ride
in Boston Harbor.
And we had a wonderful lunch, a hearty lunch at Legal Seafood, and took the boat back.
It was just great.
It was perfect.
It's our favorite city. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
it was a gorgeous day in Boston that day. And
I was convinced that Pam would never say yes. I had done my research. I knew all about the water taxi ahead of time.
I was a little bit hesitant. I mean, we had been up since 3 that morning to get the flight out of Cincinnati. And so I'm already kind of, you know how you are when you are.
That's how you are.
You know, flying, and you're just like, let's everything go smoothly.
Sure. Yeah.
And
sense.
the idea of leaving the airport proper made me a little bit like, even though we had this huge layover, I was still anxious.
Yeah, sure.
But it worked out perfectly.
It did.
So we had a lovely
pre-trip
excursion, and it was so fun.
Yeah,
so fun.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, at least I'll talk about this more at the end, but like I think that for me, I don't want to speak for Pam, but this year has been so busy.
Yeah, and
so, I mean, I've said all year to anyone close to me, just get me to August. Just get me to August, and then right around the corner from there, it's retreat season. And so I've just been waiting and just grinding all year to be rewarded by, like, having this trip especially. Like, obviously, our trip to Salt Lake is going to be great. Our trip with the Crockpot crew is going to be great. All those things are going to be great. But, like, you know, so it just felt like finally I can enjoy some time.
So, do we have any pictures of the Boston layover?
Oh yeah, but we had also already said we weren't going to talk about going to, like, we weren't going to elaborate on Boston.
Oh, I've broken the first cardinal rule, I guess.
It's okay, but so I don't have any pictures on your phone.
Okay, so, but just so you know, we did have that opportunity, and it was lovely. Okay.
Okay.
So,
hold on. I can show the people one thing.
Okay.
So.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. So there we are.
Yep.
On a sunny day in Boston.
And
anticipating our big trip.
And
yeah, it was fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, not a cloud in the friggin' sky.
No.
Like, it.
Yeah, it was great.
And everyone was so sweet and was like, you take really good pictures. This is, my camera's really good. Yeah. So, and then I got a lobster roll. Yeah. And Pam got stuffed lobster tails. Yeah. And yeah. This is really cute.
It was Labor Day weekend. So
this one's cute. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. It was Labor Day weekend. So of course the whole area around the aquarium and so forth.
It was wild. There were so many people.
Pretty hopping.
Yeah, it was hopping for sure.
In any event, we got back to the international terminal, which is all new at Boston Logan.
Yep.
And we're all ready for our flight to Amsterdam.
Yep.
And just a general statement that all of our flights were on time or maybe a little bit early. We had no problems with boarding or anything. I do think that it's kind of silly that they give you this food that you have little, you know, you're trying to
they gotta feed you on an 8-hour flight. Would you
rather have crackers and a cocktail than the silly food that you expect to eat, like in this little seat. I mean, it was just silly.
No, what we need to do is just fly first class moving forward.
Anyway, general statement about our flights and our connections and all that kind of stuff.
That was wonderful.
Was perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
And I would much rather have a longer layover somewhere than be rushing.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
We never had to run to terminals.
I mean, I don't run anyway, so I would have gotten one of those little things with the light on it. Excuse me.
Blue light special.
Yeah, that's me. Blue light special.
So anyway, so now we fast forward. We've arrived in Amsterdam.
At the airport.
We get our ride down to Apeldoorn. We get checked into our hotel, and we do kind of rest.
Well, we went to lunch.
We
met Yolanda.
Yeah. And we did not start on the first excursion until Monday. So
I think that moving forward, we're going to just kind of go day by day.
Yeah.
And I have, not like a ton, but I have some photos that we thought you would want to see.
Right.
And so we're going to talk about the day, and then we'll insert the photos. And then we'll talk about the day and insert the photos.
Yeah.
Time of the days.
So all that editing Stephanie will do.
Yes. So before we get into Monday, we'll show you some pictures of like the outside of our hotel and where we all went to lunch that day. So we left Boston at 7:45 at night, and we landed in Amsterdam at 8 a.m. on Sunday. So then we had like once everybody got gathered and all the things, we went to Apeldoorn and had lunch. So there's some pictures that were taken there. So we'll include those pictures here before we move on to our first excursion. Okay. So enjoy those photos here.
Okay.
And so what do we do on Monday, Pam?
On Monday was our trip to Utrecht. And it was our first excursion, not a super long ride at all. Utrecht is a university city. And so it has a kind of an academic feel to it, I feel like.
I would agree.
We walked around a lot in Utrecht. And we took
around a lot everywhere.
Yeah. And we took a canal boat
we sure did.
Ride in Utrecht.
Yes.
One of the things that we saw everywhere, if you don't know anything about the Netherlands, is the bicyclists.
Correct. That's their main mode of transportation.
It is, in many ways, impractical to use an automobile.
Correct.
In some of these older cities...
Very skinny streets.
With very narrow streets. I mean, their driver dropped us off and picked us up pretty much at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
Because navigating the van was silly.
Yes.
There are also very pronounced lanes along these streets. I hesitate to even call them streets. That are specific for people on bicycles. And
other lanes.
Yeah. And just know ahead of time, if you are planning to go, they have the right of way. And they are fast. And they know all the signaling rules. Yeah. And you do have to look both ways, just like you tell a little kid. Look both ways. Absolutely. Because they just fly by you.
Yep, absolutely.
And all ages and
so cool.
It's just amazing.
Because that day that we actually went to Utrecht was the first day of the academic year. Did you say that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so that was,
Yeah.
so like there were people everywhere.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see just like a very bustling city with like, you know, I think the only meals we ate inside out of the whole week were the ones inside the hotel restaurant.
Yeah.
Like people eating outside, just hustle and bustle. Like it's just so interesting.
And everywhere there was an eating establishment, there was seating out front, which is where we ate.
Absolutely.
And if you were maybe a little bit tired of walking and thought, let me just sit right here, it probably would
cost you.
It probably belongs to an eating establishment, and they're going to be asking you to buy something.
Yep.
A coffee or a cola or whatever.
Yep, absolutely.
And so there were times in that heat where I was searching for some place to sit down for a couple of minutes that wasn't related to a restaurant.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was lovely to see everybody sitting outside.
It was great.
And you think, this lifestyle, I could take this.
Yeah,
lifestyle.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it was peak tourist season.
Oh, no. Absolutely not.
But it was still very bustling, as Stephanie said.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, so when it came to needlework shops, there's not a ton. Okay. There's just not a ton. But what we could find, we wanted to check out.
Yeah.
So, like Pam said, we did the canal tour. We ate lunch at this amazing Greek restaurant, et cetera, walked the city streets, went in some churches, did those things. And then there was a place called Ria's, R-I-A, and the word is Fornaturen. I don't know what that means in Dutch, sorry. But it was basically a sewing, needlework, handiwork shop.
There were sewing machines in there.
Yeah, the button wall, the wall of zippers, et cetera.
Yeah.
And a little bit of cross stitch. So a bunch of notions, all the things. So it was cool because like the people in our group, like Suzanne, she quilts and she knits and crochets. So like we went into other shops, maybe if it was just Pam and I, we wouldn't have gone into, because we don't do those things.
Right.
So I want to show you what I got at Ria's, because of course I was able to find something. And that's funny, it says YouTube on it. But see, it had like stuff like that, like notion-y type stuff. So I found this cute little Vervico kit. It's called Winter Night. And I thought it looked like Europe. And I bought it. Okay, I did. And then this was a book that, like, from a brand I'd never heard of before. But it was $5, so, or €5. And it's from Rico Design, and it's called probably Winter Wald, but it's Winter Wonderland or Winter World or something. I don't know. But that's what the cover looks like. So it's this small book. So cute. And then I think that Rico is a brand of floss, I want to say, because they have all this big color card in the back. But they just had some cute, like, Christmas projects in here. And for $5, I was like, there's some cute smalls in here. You know, like, look at that. That's cute. Very European. So, so I picked up those two things from Ria's in
Utrecht.
Yes. So,
so you want to insert the Utrecht pictures?
Yes. So, yeah. Okay. So that was our day in Utrecht. And then we came home, or back to Apeldoorn that night. And I couldn't, oh yeah, that was when we went to you had that martini for dinner.
I had a martini for dinner.
With dinner. With dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was interesting. So, anyway, you know, some things we'll just keep between us, you know. So, anyway, so we will insert the pictures from Utrecht here.
Okay.
What's next, Pam?
The next day was, Stephanie woke up and she said, guess what today is? And I said, what? She goes, today is Anne Frank Day.
Yes.
And that was the day we went to Amsterdam.
Yes, it is.
And, again, not a bad ride.
No, it was like an hour.
In a different direction than Utrecht.
Yep.
And we had been to Amsterdam 4 years ago.
Yep.
In early December.
Yep.
And very different weather.
Yes.
But we saw some sights that we recalled from 4 years ago.
Yep.
And
so Rafi dropped us off in front of, how do you say it, Westermarkt Church.
Oh yeah, the church is
I mean, obviously churches are beautiful, but on the grounds of the church was a beautiful statue of Anne Frank. So that was absolutely lovely to see. Right. And then also, like, in the corner was the smallest cheese shop in Amsterdam. Yeah. So I think I've got a bottle of water, honestly, but it was very, very small. Mm-hmm. And then we went inside of the church and looked around in the church, like, you know, you can go inside. Mm-hmm. And that is actually where the final resting place of Rembrandt, which is a fun fact for you. And then, you know, we just walked the city streets. We went down to we didn't take a canal tour, because we'd done that a lot, you know what I mean? Like, we just had done that before. Yeah. So, and then we went to the square, which, if you remember the Great Pigeon Incident of 2019,
4 years ago. Right.
That is the square that happened in. So that was pretty fun to see that square again.
Yeah.
And I will say that me and a few others in the group, I will not.
Not me.
No, I'm not going to tell you who went.
Right.
But a few of us took a little stroll into the red light district. Because we didn't go 4 years ago, and I just wanted to see it. Yeah. And so Yolanda was like, come with me. Yeah. And I said, well, Yolanda, I'd follow you anywhere. Yeah. Okay? Because I would. Yeah. So, I mean, it was like 1:30 in the afternoon. Right. So, not bad. Okay?
Not a high traffic time.
No. I mean, there were some people working, okay? But, so, you will not be seeing any photos I took in the red light district. No, ma'am. No. And so we did that, and then we did a little bit of souvenir shopping in Amsterdam, and we had crepes for lunch that day.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Those crepes were. It was like any place we ate.
Yes.
Was incredible. I don't care if it was like a hole in the wall.
We put in our mouths was delicious.
That's right after the red light district talk, man. Okay.
Listen.
Literally everything.
Yeah.
Like, we sat down at this crepe place, and I was like, don't know how I feel about it. Best crepe I've ever eaten in my life. Okay? Absolutely incredible.
Made on demand.
Yes. So good. So
amazing.
Good. And then, after lunch, we sort of slowly made our way to the Anne Frank house.
Right.
And we did that tour. So, this is mind-boggling to me. Okay, listen to this. So they let groups of people go through scheduled like tours. Every 15 minutes, there another 75, 80 people go through. Every 15 minutes. Wild. So you go in, and then there is like a wall of these hearing devices.
Yeah.
And
for a self-guided tour.
Sure. And so you tell them what language you speak, and they hand it to you. Yep. And then as you go through every room, you like scan the number with your little thing, and then you hold it up to your ear, and it gives you the tour.
It was very well designed, executed, not for the, you need to be prepared for the stairs. Let me put it that way. And I think many of us have seen either a mini-series or a movie or a TV special or a YouTube video or read the book or, you know, had some exposure to the story.
Yes.
And I think one of the things...
Nothing prepares you.
No, nothing prepares you. In fact, one of, I'm going to call him a docent because this is really a museum, was checking on people in the procession through the museum. Yeah. And this will be something that will stick with me, I think, because he just kind of made a general question through the passage, is everybody doing okay? Yeah. Now, at first hearing of that, I thought he's checking to make sure everybody is physically okay. Sure, sure. As they're winding their way up the stairs. Yeah, of course. But the other thing he's checking on is your emotions. Sure. Because it is quite moving. Yeah. The other thing, going back to dramatizations that you might have seen, is that lots of times when the Nazi soldiers have found out where they're hiding, you often have a scene where they are pounding up the stairs. First of all, I think it is an absolute incredible thought that they were ever found, because they were pretty hidden behind that bookcase. And the original bookcase is still there. It is covered in lucite, but it is still there. And which is crazy. Crazy, crazy. But the mere fact, as we were going through, and you go up one level and up another level, and you go into the annex and so forth and so on, that it is astonishing that they were found. Yes. Okay. And to imagine these German soldiers, German police, climbing these stairs in, I'm sure, their military uniforms, is somewhat hard to imagine as you're in those narrow passages. There are several fixtures that do remain. Of course, once the Frank family was taken out, the government went in and pretty much emptied out most everything that was not nailed down. Right. But there are a few fixtures. There's a sink, and there is a countertop. And some of the things the girls have put up on the walls. Right, like the movie star pictures and that kind of thing from that period of time. So you have to kind of use your imagination. And there's lots of written material on the walls and in the displays and so forth. Yeah. And of course, it's just a very moving experience. And we felt privileged to have had the opportunity to go through it.
Yep.
I think Debbie said she went through as a kid.
Yeah.
So it's been many years. But
sure. And it's changed like the way they do the tour technology.
Another thing that I think I mentioned to you, Stephanie, was that when we were around to the front door, I did not remember from anything I'd seen on TV, etc., that it's pretty much across the street from that front door is the canal.
Or a canal, yeah.
Or a canal. I don't know that that's always depicted, but that also struck me as being...
It's not how you picture it in your mind's
It's not
eye.
how I pictured it.
So there's a scene in the miniseries A Small Light that we watched where Jan goes to the annex because he's heard about what's happened.
Yeah.
And he wants to make sure that...
Is that Meep's husband?
Yep.
Okay.
And to check on Meep. And from his vantage point, and the government is taking them out.
Yeah. You can see the canal?
He's looking over the canal.
Okay. So
I missed that. If not, if I hadn't seen that in that miniseries, I wouldn't have pictured it either.
Right.
But yeah.
But the queue to get in, like Stephanie said, was just amazing.
Yeah.
And we had our scheduled time was 3:30 in the afternoon. So it was pretty much the last thing we did.
Because it takes about an hour to get through it.
Yeah, and there's really no rush.
No.
I think everybody was perfectly civilized and polite and moved slowly and allowed people to read everything.
Absolutely.
There are little videos, of course. The most notable would be Otto talking about his life after he found out that his family was gone. And what he said at one point during some interview from before he passed away was that he felt that he didn't, while she was alive, he didn't really know Anne. That struck me. But after reading her diaries, he realized what he didn't understand Anne was going through.
Yeah.
So anyway, a big highlight of the trip.
Yeah, absolutely.
As you can imagine, a very big
bucket list item.
That's what I was trying to say. Bucket list item for both of us, especially Stephanie.
Yeah.
So
they don't allow you to take any photos while taking the tour. But I took a couple pictures like in the lobby or whatever when we were done with the tour. And then when you're done with the tour, there's a gift shop, and they have a huge display of all different covers in different languages of the Diary of Anne Frank. It's been published in over 75 languages. It's crazy. And I just thought that was really wild. Cool. Yeah. So I took that picture, so that'll be included in these. So,
and actually I pointed out to her one of the covers, and I don't remember what language it was printed in, but one of the covers of one of those books kind of looks like the design that Stephanie is stitching. So anyway.
So yeah.
Oh, there, yeah.
Well, it'll be in the slideshow.
Yeah.
So
you'll see those in the...
Yeah, and then when our driver picked us up right after the tour, we drove back to Apeldoorn. Oh yeah, and then there was a very small, mostly yarn shop that we went into.
Right.
They had two pretty large crocheted pieces on the wall. There was Old Amsterdam Harbor, which is pretty wild.
I think that was an Eva Rosen.
It wasn't something they sold. It was just on the wall.
Yeah, but you can buy the kit. It's like over $100 or something. But it is, yeah, it's humongous.
And then they had a lavender and lace Angel of Love stitched on the wall. Yeah.
Most of the shops, that's all they have is kits.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, I did pick up one kit, though. This is from Taya Gouverneur. And this is what it looks like. I mean, if that doesn't say the other ones, I don't know what does. So, I picked that up. full kit, obviously.
Yep.
Because that's how they do it in Holland.
Right.
But then, yeah, so then they picked us up after the Anne Frank house and went back to Apeldoorn, and we had dinner, because Yolanda went with us that day to Amsterdam.
Yes.
The twins were not with us.
Right.
So we had dinner with both of the twins, and great outdoor spot.
The restaurant in the hotel was excellent.
That's not where we had dinner that night, though.
No.
Remember the guy that came over and gave us sausages?
Oh, that's right.
That was that night. Yeah.
But so it was in Apeldoorn.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
we were eating outside.
It was right by Yolanda's apartment.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was a couple that was sitting kind of across.
Yeah.
Again, we're outside eating.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we thought at first, was he the owner? But we're not sure.
I have no idea.
Him and a woman, a couple, were there. And he kind of figured out that we were visiting.
Well, I mean, we were loud Americans, so probably that giveaway.
He came over and he said,
I love Americans.
And, you know, he
was
just,
awesome.
Where are we from? I think we rattled off our states, right? And then he had ordered a tray of hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, it was just these sausage-like things.
Right.
That were covered in this,
so
mayonnaise.
That was brought for the table, and welcome to Holland. And,
yeah.
Oh, it was just
It was
fabulous.
cute. Yeah. It was awesome.
And then, after we chit-chatted with them, then they paid their bill.
Yeah.
Picked up their bikes.
And just
off they went down the road on their
welcome
bikes.
to Amsterdam, to Holland, or whatever. It was
phenomenal.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. So, and so that was our day in Amsterdam.
That was Tuesday.
Yep. So we will insert the pictures from Amsterdam here.
Okay, so that brings us to Wednesday, and that was our longest day. And we were scheduled to go into Belgium, and we were driven 3 hours both ways to Bruges, Belgium.
Yes.
And what did we do in Bruges besides shop? We did some shopping.
Well, so Bruges was, I think, probably one of the busiest cities we went to. There was like a ton of like guided tours, and just like people everywhere, and horse-drawn carriages, and it was just like there was a lot happening.
Was that where the umbrellas were?
No, that was Deventer.
Okay, that's right.
Sorry. No, it's fine.
Coming.
So, literally, like, he dropped us off. We walked for like 5 minutes and ran into the needlework shop.
Oh, that's right.
So the needlework shop that we went to in Bruges is a place called TemptingTangles. Sure.
Yeah, something like that.
Very interesting experience.
Another hot day.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah. And when we got there, we had to wait like 10 or 15 minutes because they were on lunch. Whatever, no problem. We watched the horse-drawn carriages go by. It was not that big of a deal.
Right.
So then the owner, I assume, came back, and there was a lot of really beautiful window displays. I have no photos of them to show you because she was very strict about no photography allowed. None. And there was no, like, explaining, like, FlossTube or it was just no pictures. Okay. That's fine. In addition to that, she also required that if you wanted to touch anything at all, you needed to wear gloves.
Right. Like the blue
surgical gloves.
Surgical latex gloves that you use to clean with when you're home.
I mean, they weren't that. They didn't like go up to here.
No, but they were.
I mean, they were latex gloves.
They were pretty basic.
Yeah. So that was interesting. Also, like, keep in mind that, like Pam said, it was hot, but like also they don't have air conditioning.
Right.
So yeah, it just was interesting. So anyway, it was 95% kits. Yes. They did have some linen there. It was like Zweigart stuff. It didn't feel like to me, and I'm not trying to like rag on the shop or anything, but like it didn't feel like to me, like me and Suzanne asked her, what count is this? Like what count linen is this? And she did not know how to answer that question. So it was like just kind of frustrating, I guess is the word. But if all you're used to is kits, then why would you care? You know what I mean? About the count of linen. So it was just an interesting experience. Did I find things to buy? Of course I did.
Did I? Yes.
Yes. So let's show that stuff now. Okay. So I just picked up 2 things. This, I don't know if this is out of print. This has probably been in her shop for 700 years. Okay. And it's a Mirabilia, and it's called Savannah's Curtsy. It was printed in Columbus, Ohio, went all the way to Bruges, Belgium, and then came back to Cincinnati. And I just think I like it a lot. I don't know why. I probably wouldn't do the welcome above it, but I like the lady a lot. So, and to be fair, I don't know if this is out of print. So if somebody knows if it's out of print, let me know. I might have a diamond in the rough over here. And they had a ton of dimensions kits.
Kits in general. Just
oh yeah, it was just, but it was also very organized. So like all of the cat stuff was together, all the dog stuff was together, all of the flowers. It was very organized. So she had a model of this on the wall. I would love to show you a picture, but I can't because there's not pictures. But it was just incredible. And I'd seen this kit before, but I'd never seen it stitched. And I saw it stitched. I literally grabbed this in the line to check out. I'm insane.
Yeah, Stephanie loves hot air balloons.
Oh, I love a balloon.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's bananas. I'm insane for purchasing this. I don't know, but I can't wait. There's my receipt. Don't look at that. Okay. So, those are the 2 things I bought there.
I bought a little bit more.
Yeah, Pam sure did.
So,
Pam loves a kit.
Well, before we get to the kits, you found this first, right?
What is it? Hold on. Don't F. What? Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay, so another European designer that I think, first discovered 4 years ago when we went over there is a French designer named Véronique Angenet. We don't know. Sure. And
we've been collecting her books.
We brought back a book like this 4 years ago.
Okay.
And it's not too far away. But it's very much the French style, if you're familiar.
Yeah.
And this one is called...
the winter season. The season of winter.
Where do you get winter?
I don't know, because of that.
This is Mountain.
Great.
Mountains of the season?
Sure.
Seasons of the
mountains.
We don't know. 3 years of high school French.
Well, high school wasn't yesterday, Pam.
True. True.
You didn't just graduate.
Just to show you a few, you know, they're just dainty and delicate. And
show them the cover.
Oh, sorry. I think there might be one. I don't know.
You can find these books on Amazon.
Yeah, you did a deep dive on Amazon for some of these books.
It's just so pretty.
They're just beautiful. They're just beautiful.
I mean, look at them.
Yeah.
Look at them.
There you
look
go.
At them.
So we got that book.
It's got that. To add to the collection.
Right.
Then what, Pam?
I don't even remember why I got this. But it's another Taya Gouverneur. And it's a kit. And it comes with black Ada. And...
whatever. You bought it, babe.
And it's called, I don't know that I think it's this. But it's roses, okay?
Yes.
It's roses. And I don't know why I bought it. I don't know whether I had it in my hand.
Do you like it?
I do like it.
Okay, well, that's probably why you bought it.
So this is what it looks like. It's
Look at that
beautiful.
on black.
On black, it's stunning.
Oh.
It's just stunning.
I can't wait to not speak for 6 months while you stitch that.
So this is kind of random. It's kind of like Stephanie's hot air balloons.
Oh, no, I know why I got the balloons.
Oh, I don't know why I got this.
That's okay. Congratulations.
It must have been on the wall, maybe.
You were just living in the moment, you know, when you were like, give me these.
And,
are these roses?
I would think so.
I don't think they're roses, man.
Okay. So another Dutch designer, Taya is Dutch as well, is Lenarta.
Wait a minute.
What?
You bought this at Ria's.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't just me
that's
that
in the wrong bag.
Was...
Okay, so that was the one thing I got at Ria's.
Yeah.
Okay.
So never mind. Shouldn't get that.
Okay. So, Lenarta.
You know Pam loves Lenarta. Okay.
Okay.
It's a thing.
I saw. Oh shoot. Luda stitching this. I do believe it's called Blue Anemones.
Sure.
And it looks like that. Full kit.
Come here, Pam. Show the people.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yep.
And then...
I want to know if this fabric that is in this kit, or is that stitched?
Huh?
See how there's like little pencil sketches behind it?
Oh, no, that...
Is that on the fabric, or is that stitched?
I think it's stitched. And then I got these two ducklings...
So cute.
Kits.
From Marjolaine Baston.
Marjolaine Baston. Yeah. So this is Duckling 1.
Oh, look at him. I love him.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
Yeah. And this is Duckling and Bumblebee.
Oh, look at the little duckling. So precious.
Okay. So.
And then, wait. And then... There's Mama Duck.
Yeah.
And then there's this little squatty duck.
Yeah.
But she didn't have those.
So, when I saw that they had Lenarta kits, I thought,
This is my favorite thing you've ever done. She's sitting here with it in the bag just waiting to show you. As if you have any idea what's happening.
If you've been with me, for a minute.
Yeah.
You know that one of the projects I have is a Lenarta kit called Pumpkins. Artwork by Marjolaine Baston. And I know from looking on Facebook and Instagram, mostly Facebook, that people have admired how mine is coming along and have tried to find it. So what I did find out is that the and I knew, but I had forgotten, that the kit for the pumpkins did not come in a brown box like this with a little orange handle.
Right.
It came in clear plastic with like a hanger top. You people who collect kits, you're right in my beam of knowing what I'm talking about. Others of you are probably bored stiff. But anyway, so there were several of both kinds of kits in this shop. And I have my little blue plastic gloves on, but I love the hunt. So I took a whole handful, fistful, armful of these kits that were hanging on the rod with the hanger top and had them in my arms, and I'm flipping through because I thought if I could find another pumpkin kit, first of all, that would make me very popular, but that would be just thrilling to know that they still exist in the universe, right? So here I am with my armful of kits, and I just about screamed because I actually had in my hand another pumpkins kit. Now, this is what mine looked like when I first purchased mine, how many years ago. So, I'm not sure how I'm going to award this, okay? So just, if you know someone who has been desperately looking for this, alert them to our channel and this episode specifically, but it will be up to...
Do you want them to contact you?
No. I am in the process of deciding how this is going to leave my possession.
Okay.
I have a couple of ideas, and I will say it will not be an outright giveaway.
No.
When we got outside, after we had taken our gloves off, cashed out, Suzanne said, I'm going to go back in there and ask her if she has another one.
Mm-hmm.
And wouldn't you know, she had one more upstairs. She brought it down. Mm-hmm. Suzanne purchased it. Suzanne, sorry, I'm letting the cat out of the bag. But they might be the last two in existence. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I did find out from somebody, maybe at the retreat, that the ones with the hangers are the older Lenarte, Marjolaine Bastin kits. The ones in the brown box are newer. Mm-hmm. So, it's here, and when I decide how I'm going to award it, you'll hear it here first.
Yeah.
So, but I did purchase it just because it's just so rare.
Right, sure.
Obviously, I don't need two.
Right, sure.
So, that was my haul. I peeled this glove off.
It was gross.
And the perspiration literally was dripping off the tips of my fingers.
So cute. It was really
very
cute.
Attractive.
Really cute look for us.
Very cute look.
So, so we got that shopping out of the way early. Mm-hmm. And then, Belgium is known for their chocolate, their waffles, and their cobblestone streets.
That's right.
So, we walked around a little bit more, and we had another delicious meal at this amazing cafe situation. Mm-hmm. And you actually had to scan the QR code on your table.
Oh, that's right.
And then it popped up on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just passed my phone around to everybody at the table. Everybody ordered, and then I paid, and then that's when they drop it off to you. There's no, like, what can I get you situation. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
And then we walked down to the main square, which actually we had a meal in 4 years ago, and which is where we had our waffles.
Yeah.
So and it was the same place we had waffles 4 years ago. So good to know they survived the pandemic. That's good. So all of us got Belgian waffles with some variety of toppings. Absolutely incredible. Great treat to end the afternoon. And then we slowly but surely made our way back to the van and came home.
Right.
So.
And another 3 hours to get back to Apeldoorn.
Yeah.
It was our longest day. No question.
Yeah, for sure. Just travel-wise, for sure. So,
travel-wise.
So, yeah.
No, don't include that picture. I don't think that's very flattering.
Okay.
Have you included it in the slideshow?
I haven't put the slideshow in yet, Pam.
Oh.
the slideshow gets put in.
It's not a very good picture of me.
Well, if you ask Pam, no picture is good of her, so I just won't include any pictures of Pam.
Okay. I didn't mean to upset the
it's fine.
order of things.
No problem. Okay. So, at this point, we will include all of our pictures from our trip to Bruges, Belgium.
So we're up to Thursday.
Yep.
And at this point, let me just insert this comment. Make sure that you check out the next video from Snug Harbor Crafts.
Oh, yeah.
Because Debbie was with us, and her husband was also in Europe, but took a side trip by himself. That's all I'm going to say. But you need to
watch it. Just watch it.
Watch Snug Harbor Crafts. I think they recorded today as well.
I don't know.
We'll see.
But then when they put up their recap,
yeah, when you see Debbie talk about her experience with us in the van, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's not our story to tell, but it really kind of overlaid some of our travels.
Sure.
So forth and so on. Okay. The other thing that occurred to me that I'll insert here too is that we definitely got from the discussions as we're riding around how bad the pandemic was in Europe. And I guess we were very, wrapped up in our own rules and regulations and shutdowns and so forth. But we don't know why this woman was so particular with the gloves. We don't know whether that was a hangover from the pandemic or not. But generally speaking, there were occasionally people who were traveling, who were playing tourists like us, who did wear masks.
Of course.
And
I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon.
I don't think so either. But it was just a different perspective on what we've been through in the world in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
To me, it just was like, wow. We're always going to reference 2020 before the pandemic, after, so forth and so on. So I'll just make that statement.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're up to Thursday.
Yep. So this was kind of like, I mean, it wasn't our last, but it was maybe our, the last outward trip that we made. I mean, because Friday we stayed pretty close. So Thursday we went to a town called Deventer. in Holland, obviously. And this was exciting because we took a train. And it was like a 15-minute train ride, but it was just something new and different. So that was pretty fun. And so another day of just like exploring the city and, beautiful train, by the way, lovely train ride. And then, we stopped in a cheese shop, met a father and son who owned the cheese shop. That was fun. And we went in two very, very beautiful yarn stores. It honestly made me think maybe I could learn to knit. Okay, but I don't even have time for the hobbies I do enjoy, so whatever. Or the ones I already have. But I bought some yarn so Suzanne could make me socks. So, but it was just fun because, like, Suzanne was loving it, and it was just fun to see creative people and all the things. So, it felt like a very artsy city. It felt very creative vibes happening. I don't know. That's like through in these narrow streets that, you know, with shops and all this fun stuff. They had like umbrellas going along. That was the city with the umbrellas. Okay. So that were kind of strung between the buildings. It was just fun. It felt like, I don't know.
Which city was it for the bachelor party?
Oh, that was Utrecht.
Oh. Do you want to tell that story or no?
I mean, we can. Yeah, it's fine. So sometimes words get lost in translation. Yeah. So like something means one thing. It's a word that both people or both countries recognize as a word, like the word bachelor. Okay. But it means something different in different countries.
So
okay?
We're walking around Utrecht.
We're walking back to the van.
Right.
Monday night. And all of a sudden, these like little pockets of these groups of 20-something men just start appearing.
Like they're on their way somewhere.
Yes.
Clearly.
And they're like nicely dressed with like...
a large group. Every time we turned a corner.
Yeah, yeah. They had like...
there were more of them, and they were all pretty much dressy.
Khakis,
white shirts.
And a navy suit jacket.
Yeah.
And they're just like walking away. And so finally, I'm like...
they're all heading to the same place, we figured.
Well, I mean, they're all dressed the same, so they must be, right? So I finally say to Yolanda, what's happening? What's happening here? And she said, it's like, how do you say, like a bachelor party. Excuse me? Call me. Thank you. Eligible single lady. Thank you so much.
Right.
And,
513.
Yeah, right. So... there's just so many of them
that it was beyond a groom's
gathering.
And
finally, Yolanda turns around and she goes, I think we have different definitions of a bachelor party.
Right.
And I said, well, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And she goes, these are all the men in the freshman class of law school.
Yeah.
And they're all getting
I told you,
together.
Utrecht was...
right,
college
with the university.
City.
Yeah. And so, and I said, okay, yep, different things. Yep, different things. I thought they were all going to a pre-wedding party.
Right.
And then I remembered it was also Monday night. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it was just hilarious.
It was fun. They just,
Suzanne
more.
And we're like, you're going to be great lawyers. Oh, it was hilarious. It was so funny.
Very funny.
So, anyway.
Okay, sorry. I'm getting all my cities mixed up.
Well, it's hard. It's easy to... Yeah.
So that
was... So we're on Thursday still with the Venter and Dave Venter. And then we had lunch at this super cute Hansel and Gretel cafe.
Right.
And again in the public square, ate outside, delicious food. And we got gelato that day. That was pretty good. I mean, by pretty good, it was extraordinary. Another hot day, though, of course. Went in a couple of more churches. And the yarn shop. So we went in a stationery shop. That was super cool.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
You know, just different. So, and then there was actually the umbrellas have a hook on the end. And they have baskets throughout the street with like pool rings in the baskets. And you could take them and you try to get them on the, it's just like a fun game.
Anybody can do it.
No big deal. It was fun.
Yeah.
So, and then, yeah. And then we walked back and we got picked up by Rafi and driven back to Appledore.
Right.
That night.
Right.
So, so we will insert our pictures from our day in Daventry here.
Okay, so let's see. We're up to Friday.
We are up to Friday.
Friday was a big day.
Big day. Big day. So, but shortest distance.
Yes.
So, Friday, we went to, so let's talk about everything we did aside from the shop.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about the shop.
Okay.
Okay. So, we went to Vaassern. Vaassern, yep. And
which is not far from Appledore at all.
Yes. It is like maybe 15 minutes.
Right.
So we drove there, and the number one priority of the day was going to Soed, which is a needlework shop owned by Simona. But we're going to talk about that after we tell you all the other things we did that day.
Right.
So we spent numerous hours in Simona's shop, and then we took a little walk to a castle where we had lunch. Just casually had lunch at a castle. It was incredible. And then later in the afternoon, they had scheduled a high tea for us.
Mini high tea.
Mini high teas, pardon me. Mini high tea. And the mini high tea was underneath a windmill. Because why not?
Right.
That was amazing. Never done that before. Never done high tea. Never done it outside of
You had loose tea, and you had the little bags, and so you could pick out your flavor of tea, scoop it into the bag, put it in your hot water that you've poured into your beautiful teacup, and we had something to eat with the tea.
Little treats,
treats.
Little things.
Steep your tea as long as you would like. It was all very, very
incredible.
Beautiful.
Yes. It was amazing.
So,
so we did all that. And then
after all that, we went to Simone's?
No, we did Simone's before we did it.
We're just not talking about it until
Okay. So, so then here, I know we've only talked for a couple minutes, but let us insert the pictures from our day activities in Vaassern here. now we're going to talk about Simone's.
Right.
All right. So.
We had met Simone 4 years ago.
Yep.
And so she was not
a stranger to us.
A stranger to us at all.
Yes. Oh, wait. We should also mention that by this point, Linda had arrived.
Oh, that's right. And Linda had been with us 4 years ago. Linda lives in Norfolk in the UK. Yep. And she is an absolute beautiful, sweet, lovely lady.
We love her.
We were the first FlossTube channel that Linda ever watched.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's fascinating.
Yep. So she has been a faithful viewer and a dear, dear friend.
Absolutely.
And she went everywhere with us 4 years ago, and we were just thrilled to see her again.
Yes. So she came in Thursday night.
Right.
So then she joined us on our activities on Friday.
That's right. That's right.
So she went to tea with us, which was perfect because she's British. So Simona came with us to Amsterdam 4 years ago. And then, and plus I'd seen her at market, that kind of stuff. So we knew who each other was or whatever.
Right.
So Simona has a online needlework shop.
Yeah,
okay.
A web shop.
A web shop, yes. So, but
she takes walk-ins by appointment only.
Yeah.
And she pretty much used to do this out of her home. But she has now got essentially a larger sized she shed, for lack of a better word, on the property. And it's a standalone building, and it was incredible.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So it was nice that it was just like our group that was in there doing all the shopping.
Right.
So I, of course, did a shop tour for you. So because of that, I'm not inserting any pictures from her shop because it's all in the shop tour. But do you want to do our haul now?
Do I have any?
Yep, sit in that bag. Yep.
Yeah, let's do our haul.
Okay. So you can shop on her web shop 24 hours a day. It's always open. So I will, of course, link Simona's shop below for you.
Right.
In addition to being a shop owner, she is also a designer. So, she has a lot going on with her designing arm, and so keep up with her on social media. She's extraordinarily talented, and if you are in the area and you can take time to visit, I cannot recommend it enough.
Oh, yeah.
I will say that because it's like her workspace as well, there are things and models and stuff that she has in that shop that she doesn't necessarily have the merchandise for. It's like a gift someone made for her or whatever, or something that she stitched millennia ago or what have you. So, primarily she is a web shop. So that's why she has so much stuff that she doesn't have supporting merchandise for. Does that make, I hope that's making sense. But anyway, so it's not like a keepstakes where you go in and you're like, well, why do you have a model for something you don't have merchandise for? It's like, it's not the same. Yeah. So, all right, why don't you go first since I have
a couple of things that just struck me, and I said, I'm going to order this. Now, I ordered this after...
Yeah, because she had it in a corner tucked down there.
She had this framed and in a corner,
this
and
is
I
one of those
ended up buying it at home after we got home.
I think you bought it while we were in the Netherlands.
Oh, that's right. I ordered it online, and it was here. So it's a Victoria sampler, and it's called Jingle Bells Xmas Tree Farm.
So good.
And it's the chart only. And, you know, Taya does not sell the accessory packs anymore, so you have to use the conversion, but I don't imagine that's going to be difficult.
No.
So I purchased that while over in the Netherlands. I purchased it online, but because I saw it at Simone's.
Sure.
This one was finished as a kind of a wall hanging fabric finish. It's a Jardin Privé, and it's called Retour au Source. I'm not sure what that translates to, but it's a monochromatic, and the one they had, one she had hanging by the patterns was all in a red.
Yeah. But
it can be done in any color.
Him and I actually both bought this chart.
Yeah, so that might...
And I bought the thread that matched them all.
This is a Madame Chantilly, and it's
so cute. Celebrate
Autumn. You know, it isn't unique to Simone's, but...
So what?
I liked it.
Yeah.
She had a Bent Creek chart in the ladies' room called the Red Thread. Now, ironically, Suzanne had found that she had all the little charts that make up the Red Thread. It's a long horizontal chart, typical of Bent Creek. She had sold me all the little charts to it. She asked me if I had it, would I be interested? I said yes. And the framed piece of the Red Thread was in the bathroom. And that intrigued me, and I went ahead and bought from Simone the fabric to stitch those on as one big piece. Do you remember what this is?
32 count vintage smoky white.
Okay, so I went ahead and got that. Then, I don't know whether you have a picture of this.
It'll be in the tour.
In the tour, you'll see this kind of bulky, not a big pillow, okay, pillow form. It's not stuffed tight, so it's kind of floppy on the shelf. And it has this beautiful Christmas sentiment on it. And it's stitched on this window pane fabric, kind of a natural with the thin red squares. And I asked Simone about it, and she said that the design came from a
French blog.
A French blog a few years ago.
Okay, great.
And I just could not stop thinking about it. So I posted in one of the Facebook groups in search of, with a picture of the pillow, and all those lovely people out there who do detective work online found it. It was a freebie. And so if you see this picture of this pillow on this window pane fabric and you're interested, send me an email. I'll be glad to pass that on. There's no restrictions to it.
No.
So that is all I got at Simone's at Soed Day. So
calm down, everybody.
The floor is yours, Stephanie.
Oh my goodness. The price of linen was a steal.
Yeah.
So even though it was Zweigart linens and things that I could get at Keepsakes, it was a steal. So so I got a fat half of 36 vintage country mocha, a fat quarter of 36 summer khaki, and then you'll see a little quilt. It's like a house with a quilt hanging out front, and there's 6 of them. Okay, that was a freebie that Simona designed. It's actually just one, and then she had a customer design 5 additional little houses to go with it. So me and Suzanne and Debbie got the fabric that was stitched on, which is, I think, a 38 count from Excess Commodities, like a legacy linen. Okay, then she had a lot of like things that were fully kitted, which I'm here for. Okay. So this is a very early design from Simona. It's called Make It a December to Remember. December is my birth month, etc., etc. All the things.
Including the frame.
Including the frame. And the embellishments for the frame. Cute, cute, cute. Then this is called Strawberry Picker. Also designed by Simona. with all of the things. Then, oh yeah, okay, this is the chart that Pam just showed that I bought a second one. And this is the floss color that was used in the model, which is Barn Door from Classic Colorworks. It's beautiful. Okay, then... And...
Do you want me to...
yeah, if you want to put them in that bag as I hand them, that would be great. Okay, this is also designed by Simona. No idea what it says in Dutch, but it's frickin' cute. Oh, that little mouse. Oh, I love it. All the things. Not just the fabric and threads, but the finishing fabrics as well.
Yeah.
Which is so good. Then she has this bunny situation happening. Okay, you know how much I love a bunny, okay? So, it's like a bunny trio. There's this big bag, there's this little pillow, and this needle book. Cute, cute, cute. So this is the chart for this large bag. This is just chart only. And then I got the kit for both the pillow, all the things. Look at that finishing fabric. It's so cute. And even the button for the pillow. Excuse you, ma'am. And the needle book. Look at that little bunny needle book. Little bunny needle book. Papa, look at that. So cute. Again, with the finishing fabric. Amazing. Okay, and then this, okay, there is a button jar that's on an end cap. You'll see it in the video. And then there's two stitched pieces, a small square pillow, and then like a larger pillow. That is from this pattern called Lions, Tigers, and Trims Oh My by Erica Michaels. So basically, like the middle is removed from this, and then this is stitched, and then the middle is stitched on a separate pillow. And Simone did it in Cocoa, which is an alternative in this pattern. So I did that. Then there were models of, so this is from Marjorie Massey called, Prairie Girl Sampling. And it's a bunny sitting on a spool. It's fantastic. And I think you get both, but I'm not sure. But this is why I like it, so that's great. From Marjorie Massey, she had a model of that in the shop. And then she had a model of this one from Jardin Privé called La Nuit de Noël. It's cute. I like him a lot. Look at him. He's so jolly. I love the trees. It's so pretty. So, so, so cute. Yeah, she had it finished like this with, I mean, adorable. So cute. Okay, then, hold please. Okay, then this is also designed by Simone. There is the model of this is framed in the alcove by the bathroom. Elizabeth P. Dornbos, 1822. It's a reproduction sampler. I love it. I just also...
Is it monochromatic?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yep. DMC 310. Oh, but she's stitched with Belsois Old Crow. Beautiful. And then I got this super pretty book. I have no idea what it says. I think the designer is Marie Suarez, but it's all different red work patterns in it. I just think it's so sweet. I love that. It's very cute. It felt very European, so I bought it. Then this is from Simone, and another woman, Annalise Vandenberg. Sounds good to me. And this is from 2021. And it's basically a huge book of band samplers. And she has a ton of these all over her shop. They're so beautiful. I love this book. So, got that. Then someone out there in the world ordered this chart from Simona, and she was working on packing orders, and it was on her desk, and I saw it, and I said, do you have any more of that? And it's called Hollandaise Merklap by Jeanette Douglas. Basically a Holland sampler. It's stunning. Look at that house. It's so pretty. Look at those tulips. Oh, obsessed. Okay, and then, so that was all the stuff that I bought on Friday. And then the retreat was on Saturday and Sunday. And I saw a pattern stitched on the brag table. And what the twins had done was they had set up shuttles to go to Simone's throughout the weekend. So Suzanne and Debbie and I signed back up to go back to Simone's because I said, I think she has that chart. And she did. And so this is from Die Farben der, wait, no, that's the name of the chart. It is from Werkstatt für Historic Stickmeister. Stickmuster. I don't know. Yeah. It's German, okay? But this is the colors of the Netherlands.
Isn't that the one that Alice finished?
It is the one that Alice finished. Yes, ma'am.
There you go, Alice.
And so I got the chart, and I got all of the Overa Swaths to stitch it with as well. So, got that. And then I decided, oh, let me just look through the Stickmuster, whatever box. And I got, this is Ackworth Birds 2. Love it. Well, I really love the colors. That's my problem. And then I got Quaker's Pride. I'm insane. I don't know. I just think it's gorgeous. Okay, leave me alone. Then I got Quaker's Hometown. It just looks fun. Look at those Quaker motifs, okay? Look at it. It looks, plus this is like a canal. Whatever, it's a vibe, okay? Then I got, this is Victoria Street. And I got it because I thought it was cute, but also because it said Moe's on it. I like it. And then last, but certainly not least, oh wait, it's not, the last chart I have to show you is,
this is Galliana.
Yes.
We've gotten Galliana patterns on Etsy before.
Yes. And
that one is.
Yes, yes, yes. And this is called Stitching Shelves.
Yeah.
Oh, stitching in my dreams. Love it. So, yeah, both of those were Galliana. Sorry.
That's fine.
Okay. And then, on the, believe it or not, on the freebies table at the retreat, because this goes into my haul from Simona, was this amazing chart designed by Simona called
Julie?
Is that a J or an L?
Let me see. I
have no idea.
Oh, well, see, it even looks like Livy there.
Or Ivy. Or Ively. I don't know. It's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But this book, so Simona had provided copies for everyone. If you were so interested. I was obviously interested. And so it's a reproduction sampler. So that's the name of it. I'm sorry that I don't know how to pronounce it. And then that's the reproduction sampler. And then Simone had taken motifs from this and made smalls as well. And then, so I got that chart. And then I also got the Vaassern silk pack to go with it, along with the finishing pack for that small, which I loved. And then this is the finishing stuff for the needle book. So, got a few extra tidbits. So pretty, isn't it?
Oh, it's lovely. It's whoever does her books.
Yeah, the printing is...
The printing, the
all about a
production is right up there, man.
Yep.
But
sure is.
I could not tell you what that first
name
right?
is.
And,
nope. No idea.
Nope.
So,
but if you were to, you know, be interested in this,
oh yeah,
you know, just go to Simone's web shop.
Web shop, absolutely, and
you'll recognize it.
So obviously that was our most fruitful day of shopping,
right.
And a huge thank you to Simone for opening up her shop to us and putting up with all of us crazy Americans and Linda, and it was just amazing. Yeah. So
she's just
so sweet.
And Stephanie said, you know, I just love talking shop with her, and just, so how do you do this? How do you do that?
It was great.
Just the way she runs her business is just very admirable, and
absolutely,
just very, just the way to go, really.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Yeah. So at this point, we will insert the video of the shop tour of, I think it's Atelier. Soed. Here, enjoy. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Holland, the Netherlands, whatever you want to call it. And we are here shopping at Simone's shop. It is Soed. I'm probably butchering that, but I'm American. What can I do? So I'm here to show you her beautiful shop. It's absolutely gorgeous. You're going to love it. Before I take you inside, I just want to tell you that if you are here and you want to visit her shop, it is by appointment only for right now. And then, but her website is always open. So, of course, her website and all that will be listed in the description box below. Please check it out. She has so many wonderful things. So, I'm going to flip the camera around and take you on a tour. So, enjoy.
All right.
So, now on to the retreat.
Absolutely.
So, it was... Oh, shoot.
Oh, one last thing.
I also got this mug from Simona's shop.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it made it back to America safely.
Yes, it did.
Which was great.
Yeah.
Okay, so, the retreat. So, it was incredible.
It was in the same hotel
Obviously.
where we were staying.
Yes.
In a lovely all-purpose room. They had it laid out lovely.
Yep.
There were things to buy. There was a brag table. There was a display of Twin Peak primitives. There were project bags for sale from one of the attendees. There was a finishing class if you were so inclined.
Yes.
And what else?
We had our lunches. Our lunches were buffet style catered. That was great.
Yeah.
And
how many do you think? 50?
Yeah.
About
I think 45, 50 people. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like my general, like, so there was a lot of faces that we recognized from 2019. There were also a lot of faces we didn't recognize.
That's
so
right.
that was great. But like the general like vibe to me was they were all just extraordinarily happy to be together.
Oh, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I was just like, I was so happy for them. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, I think here in the States get like, and I guess I can say this as someone who works with putting on retreats, but like, sometimes it can feel like, oh my gosh, it's just so saturated. Like there's just so many retreats like left and right and this and that. And, you know, people are doing similar things and like, is it just too much? But like, then in contrast, there's people in other parts of the world that like don't have that at all.
Right. And
like, it's just so sad because they're so lovely. They're all so enthusiastic. They are up to like they're up to speed with what's going on in the industry. They all watch FlossTube. They know what's happening. Okay. But the venues to put things on or like have retreats just isn't what it is here. And that's slowly changing. You know, there's more and more retreats happening overseas for sure. Than there was even 4 years ago.
Oh yeah.
But it's
a new concept for them.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
But
there's definitely an enthusiasm across it.
When you think about the fact that we had a get together 4 years ago, is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, do you want me to take that?
It's gonna slip.
Okay, well here, give it to me.
On the plastic.
Yeah, here.
Yeah. But in terms of the general vibe, if you will, I found that this year that I got to have some actual conversations.
Oh, sure.
People.
Yes. Yeah.
There's I could name names and I don't want to because I don't want to
leave anybody out.
But I had some really nice conversations.
Absolutely.
With folks that I simply ordinarily would never meet.
Sure.
All ages. I was particularly impressed with the young stitchers that were in Stephanie's age group, 20s and 30s, and that they are so enthusiastic. All kinds of stitching styles, from full coverage to samplers to smalls, all kinds. And they just are just such a lovely gathering of people who share a common love. One of the Dutch FlossTubers, who was only able to come one of the 2 days, said in her FlossTube that posted in the last couple of days, she said, to come together with that love, you know, is just so precious.
For sure.
And So
it just goes to show that no matter where you live, no matter how you were brought up, no matter what you do for work, no matter any of that, if you love cross stitch, you love cross stitch, and you have something in common. Yeah. So it's just really cool.
There were several FlossTubers there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And we're going to provide the links to their videos. I know of a couple who have already posted more or less recap videos. It was just great. Everybody was so enthusiastic. Yeah. And just wonderful. I'm sure you have the group picture in the slideshow, no?
I mean, I can. Yeah. I can include it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. Sure. Yeah. Very well planned.
It was great. And we got T-shirts.
Yeah. T-shirts.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was really great. So, I have a couple things that, so Pam mentioned, a project bag makers that were there. And I got 2 project bags from this maker called Frog and Fudge.
She also has a floss tube.
Okay. And so I got this bag. Look at all the bites. Isn't that fun? And then I got this bag. Look at the back. I love it. And then it's vinyl front with the stripes. So pretty. Yep. So I'll link her information in her shop below for you. And then I had, there was a lovely woman that was there. Her name was Renska. And she is a floss tuber as well. So we will link her video below. But she was working on a project, and as I was walking around and just looking at seeing what other people were working on, I made a comment about it, and I said that it was lovely, and I said I saw the magazine that had on the cover sitting next to her, and I said, can I take a picture of that magazine cover so I can look for it when I get home? And she said, just, here you go, just have it. And I was like, no, I don't want to have it. It's your magazine. And she was like, but I'm done with it. Have it. So she gave it to me. So this is what the picture was. And it was so pretty. Oh, it was gorgeous. I mean, Renska's stitching was beautiful, but I'll try to live up to it. But this is like the Dutch cross stitch magazine. So that's kind of cool to have one of those too. So I made a little note of who I got it from. Oh yeah. And when in there. So so yeah, so it was Saturday, Sunday, excuse me. And we had an amazing 3-course dinner on Sunday night. If you wanted to participate, you could. There was maybe 15, 16 of us that participated in that. So that was really great. And yeah, it was just wonderful. So, okay. So here, before we wrap up our thoughts, and thank you. So here I want to insert, pictures from the retreat. I also have a brag table video and a, trunk show from the twins video. So, we'll insert all of that. I'll probably do brag table pictures, trunk show. So it's not 2 videos like that. So anyway, doesn't matter. Whatever, you're going to love it. Okay. Yeah. So I will insert all of that goodness here. treat. Picks and bins. Brag. What?
Nothing.
Okay. Okay, so, if you have made it this far,
right.
First of all, God bless you.
Yeah.
I hope you've eaten along the way.
Right.
We have some things we want to give away.
Yeah.
So, the twins gave us some things. And so, we're going to do 4 giveaways. Okay. I have 3 copies of one chart, and then I have another little combo. Is that okay with you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, the first thing is I have 3 copies of this amazing chart by the twins called Christmas Bells. Mm-hmm. It is, how many is that? 7. Mm-hmm. Bell-shaped ornament. There's birds and a little bunny and a penguin and angel blowing a horn, Pam. Mm-hmm. So, I have 3 copies of that. So, I will pull 3 winners next week.
What's the magic word?
On Sunday. On the regular video on Sunday.
Right.
So, not episode 314, episode 315 is when we're pulling winners. Give people a full week to watch this ridiculously long video. Mm-hmm. So, the giveaway for the Christmas bells. All right, so you must be at least 18 years of age or older. We will ship anywhere in the entire world. You also must subscribe to this channel. We will check. And you must leave a comment on this video to be entered. And the special word that you have to use is the word bell.
Yeah, easy.
B-E-L-L. You can use it as a bell pepper. You can use it as a dingling bell. I don't care.
A dingling bell.
You know, not to be confused with a edible bell or a finishing bell. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then the 4th and final giveaway item that we have is, this is the DutchMaynia Christmas Freebie. Both Pam and I received a copy. We don't need 2. So, pass it on to you. So, the chart's on the other side, but that is what it looks like. Mm-hmm. Isn't he cute? Mm-hmm. I really like him. And then we have your very own DutchMaynia T-Shirt.
That's right.
It is a size 2X. Mm-hmm. So,
it's a snug 2X.
Pam's
I have a 2X on now, and
that's what you normally wear is 2X, right?
It is, but it's not going to be roomy.
Yeah, it's not the roomiest of, but so it's, I would say, yeah, maybe, yeah, it's a European, okay? Mm-hmm. So, in order to be entered for the shirt, and the freebie.
How about just Dutch?
Dutch. Well, I didn't want to pick words that they would use as like, sounds like you had a great time on your Dutch adventure. Like in their comments, you know what I mean? So, let's say shirt.
Okay, shirt.
Shirt.
So that winner will get the shirt and the freebie.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And then we'll pull 3 winners for Bell otherwise. Okay? So, you have until episode 3. We'll pull winners episode 315.
Right.
Got a full week.
Right.
And we'll mention the giveaways when we make a video on Thursday. So, okay. Then, secondly, we wanted to give a couple of personalized thank yous.
Yes.
So, first and absolutely foremost, we would like to thank both Nerdin and Nursin of Twin Peak Primitives.
Yes.
We said 4 years ago that it was a trip of a lifetime, an experience of a lifetime, and this trip was no different. I mean, just the memories we made, the experiences we had, just, we would not have been able to have them if it hadn't been for your generosity, and your partnership and your friendship, and it just means the world to us. And I know that we've thanked you in person when we left you, but I think that it's important for the community to hear just how incredibly grateful we are for you.
Absolutely.
And so we look forward to many, many years of working together with you. And we just love you both so much.
Absolutely.
And then to both Yolanda and Rafi, Yolanda was probably like just such a surprise for me. Like, we get along so well. So well. We've talked like maybe every day since I came home. So she was just
what
great.
was interesting? We found out from Yolanda that using WhatsApp is very popular over there.
Yeah.
And
like, they don't use the text messaging service on their phone. So that's what we've been doing. And she just was like so knowledgeable, so answered all of my dumb questions. Like, was just really, really, really wonderful to have along as like an assistant or whatever. Like, I don't know what your official title is, Yolanda, but she was just a part that we did not expect.
Right. That
was just so wonderful.
Yeah.
And we know exactly why the twins love you so much.
Yeah.
And a huge thank you to Rafi, our driver. He put up with a lot. Okay.
He sure did.
And so we thank him for driving us around the Netherlands and Belgium as well. And then a ginormous thank you to all of the girls that were part of our little travel excursion group. Debbie, Suzanne, Christine, and Linda on the last couple days. So I feel like our relationships, our friendships with these women, like, just grew a mile. I mean, there's really like no choice but for that to happen. But like, not only just like experiencing the things that we experienced in all of our excursions together, but like the late night conversations in the hotel lounge, the breakfasts together, the stitching together at the retreat, the time that Suzanne and I went to the grocery store with Yolanda. Like, it was just like all of these like little things, and I'm just so grateful for all of you. And I know Pam feels the same, but I do. So we just love you so much. And it would not, like, the group that we went with in 2019 made that trip very special. Yes. This group that went with us in 2023 made it very special.
And the twins knew us.
For sure.
Coming over.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They did not know Debbie or Christine or Suzanne. And I think that we could not have picked 3 better excursion companions
for the whole week. Yeah.
And I was so happy that, I mean, we knew we were all compatible and all that kind of stuff, found the same things funny, oohed and awed over the same things, but for it to be conveyed to the twins too, that, you know, these are the best. This is the creme de la creme, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so it was great.
Yeah,
so, and then our last thank you is for whether you were a stitcher that lives in Apeldoorn and came to the retreat, or you live in Italy and traveled to the Netherlands for the retreat, or Germany, or wherever.
The UK.
Yeah. Wherever you came from to come to DutchMaynia. We're just so honored to spend those 2 days with you all, to talk about cross stitch, to hear about your lives, hear about the, like, just connect with you on so many different levels that were like above and beyond cross stitch was just really very, very special. And so we thank you all for taking the time out of your lives with your work and your kids and your other responsibilities to spend time at a retreat in the Netherlands with us. It just is amazing. So
I don't know how many times I would say to somebody, you know, we're friends now.
Yeah. So it was great.
Yeah.
So it's hard to put into words and convey to you as our audience if you weren't there, you know. So, but it was amazing. We had the best time ever. And this was just retreat number 1.
I know. In a week and a half, we're gone again.
Yeah. But it was amazing. Yeah. And so we are just very, 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 very blessed. We don't take that for granted. We know how lucky we are to be able to do these things. And we we hope that in some way, shape, or form, even in the smallest amount, you can see and experience what we did, even if it's this video. Absolutely. So it's probably going to be close to 3.5 hours long by this point. So sorry about that. But
there's no way
around it. So
no way around it.
That's what happens when you spend a week in Europe.
That's right. We had another amazing adventure. It also was very nice to get home.
Yeah.
So,
anyway,
the plan is
to make a video on Thursday,
which will be more or less regular.
Yep.
And then again,
on
back
Sunday.
on our regular schedule on Sunday.
Yep. And then we'll talk about what the next week will look like after that.
Yeah, because we're just kind of rolling with it.
Yeah, just stay tuned.
From now until the end of the year.
Correct. Yes.
And we'll be back with Silver and Gold and Pam's Pin Comment.
All the things. All the other sound effects, you know.
But we knew this was what you wanted to hear about.
You wanted all the tea.
All the stuff.
Yep.
So, we're gonna, Stephanie has a humongous editing job ahead of her. And we have dinner yet to eat.
Pam's got to make me a big plate of French toast.
That's right. Because it's 9:15 p.m. and we haven't eaten yet. So.
That's all right.
It'll be fine. Put the coffee on. We'll be good.
Yeah.
We hope you've enjoyed this.
Yeah.
And we hope that you're doing well.
Yep.
And that maybe you're looking forward to another great stitching adventure.
Yeah.
If you aren't, we hope that you're enjoying the stitching that's in your lap.
Yes.
So,
that too.
Until Thursday.
Yes.
Not long to wait.
No.
You might not have finished watching this one.
Sure.
We're on to Thursday.
Exactly.
So, but this was the best way, I think, to handle it.
For sure. For sure.
We're going to say see ya in a few days.
Yep.
And in the meantime, I'm Pam.
And I'm Stephanie.
And this is
Just Keep Stitching. Bye.